If you've ever wanted to trade coral with a friend that lives out of state, you're gonna wanna watch this video. What's up, coral people? My name is Remy if you're new here, and this is the Bahama Llama Coral YouTube channel. I really appreciate the support as of late. I can only imagine that the growth of the channel is only correlating with the amount of people that are working from home or bored at home. So thank you so much for the love. It is truly appreciated. That said, you can support the channel if you wish by liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell notification so you're notified whenever I upload new videos. I'm excited to have a reefing celebrity on the channel today. If you don't listen to the Reef News Network podcast, you really gotta download it. Peter and Jeremy have been the most consistent reefing podcasters by far for over 100 episodes now. I love listening on the way to work. My commute is about 25 minutes, so that's 50 minutes total, round trip, depending on traffic, of course, so I can get a good chunk of that listened to in just a day. It's the perfect way to get that little reefing nugget of knowledge on a weekly basis. And of course, it's also a good reefing podcast to throw on whenever you're doing tank maintenance. Jeremy reached out to me after seeing the unboxing video that I did with OSA a couple months ago, and he said, hey, we should trade corals. And of course, I'm reluctant because it's shipping and I've only done it once, so I'm a little nervous about it. But then I thought, well, I might as well get over my fear and we can trade some corals and I can get some stuff that I've never had before. So as I do, I wanted to break it down for everybody. So maybe we could build up a program to help you if you wanted to trade corals with a friend that you'd have to ship them to. I've narrowed it down to 5 steps, and we're gonna go through each one of those. Step 1, identify a trustworthy friend in the reefing hobby. I do not think you should do this with someone that you've just met. Use a little bit of common sense when it comes to how well you know this person. This is someone that you've been talking to for months or even years via social media, or maybe you've met them in person before. Those would be the people that you want to trade coral with. You don't want to send a bunch of coral to somebody and then they just poof, disappear. And even though we've never met face to face, I know Jeremy is a good guy and I know where to find him because now I know where he lives. Just a joke. No, I mean, I do know where he lives, but I would never do anything to hurt him. Oh, well, speak of the devil. Here's Jeremy.
What's up, reefers? Hey, it's Jeremy from the Reef News Network podcast. RNN Nation represent, wearing the shirt and everything. I'm here today because I was talking with our boy Remy, and we went back and forth about maybe buying some coral from each other and decided we were going to have a little bit of fun with it. We're going to be doing a trade video. Remy's going to go through all the details, but in the meantime, while I've got you, this is my system. I lovingly call it the Optimistic Reef. It's about a 300-gallon system. It's a 7-foot long, 265 that I customized out with custom overflow, internal overflow boxes, and plumbed it right down to a custom 75-gallon sump that I baffled up myself. Now, I really love the system. It's coming along really nice for me. I think 6 to 8 months, and I'll really be seeing it explode with growth. But I do have some really nice stuff growing in the frag tank, and that led to me and Remy's talk and conversation. We decided this trade would be really great. So instead of working right out of the frag tank, I actually moved everything over here to this system, which is a little more established. I want to make sure it's going to be rock solid in shipping. So I'm going to let it sit in here for a couple more days. It's already been in for a few days. Now, I have on there almost all the coral that will be going Remy's way. There's one surprise that's going to be in there, but I have SPS, a couple of leptos, a chalice, and a few zoas for him. We have one all-star mushroom going his way as well. But in the meantime, hope you've enjoyed my tank, and I hope you love the video. Check out the podcast if you get the chance. Once again, Reef News Network podcast. We just hit our 2-year mark a little while ago. That's 104 episodes straight, never missing a week. So a lot of work going into it. I hope you guys check it out, love it, leave us reviews. That helps a ton.
Step 2, agree to terms. How much money in corals are you going to send? You don't want to send $50 in coral while they're sending $500 in coral. Actually, that might be a good deal for you. In this case, we both decided that the $200 mark would be a nice round number to shoot for. Then the expectations are set before the coral is even shipped. Plus, this is a friend, and who knows, you never know when you may have a tank crash, so making sure that your supply of frags is kind of spread amongst your friends in the reefing community is always a good thing, because if it grows well in somebody else's tank, you might be able to get that frag back if something disastrous were to happen in your tank. Also, do you want to know what you're getting, or do you want to be totally surprised? That's what we did. We did mystery boxes, so had no idea. If you're dealing with someone that may be new to the hobby, SPS might not be a good thing. So lay those ground rules too. Do you just want LPS? Do you want SPS? Do you want ZOA, Softies, whatever it is, make sure that they know. Kind of treat this like Worldwide Corals does their mystery box every month, and highlight those corals that will best fit in your tank, and vice versa.
Now he sent me a bunch of footage and I haven't looked at any of it because I didn't want it to be spoiled. Fragtoberfest. That's a great shirt. Thank you for the addition. So we got RNN, Gremlin Zoas, Vulcan Blood Zoas, Blue Lagoon Zoas, Petroglyph. Let's get into, we got number 6 here. Jack-o'-lantern Lepto, Patchy Chief Acro. Oh wow, that's a huge piece. Cornbread 3G Chalice. On bottom, Nightmare Zoas. Sold to me as Candy Crush. What? Dude, you can't send me this stuff. I don't have Candy Crush just hanging out, ready to give away. E.O. Smith's Circuit Board Lepto, one of my oldest corals bought at my first Frag Farmers Market. That is awesome. This is from the high school. Came off the plug. That's all right, we'll re-glue it. We'll go ahead and get all this stuff acclimated. I'm gonna put all the Zoas in the lagoon, and I'm going to put the SPS in the frag tank.
Now I'm going to show you what I sent him. I think this is an L-Core Zone zoanthid, a Hawaiian zoanthid, like a ding dang, or a Hawaiian people eater, a Yoda zoanthid, an ASD Rainbow Phoenix. I really, really like this piece. It's really, really nice and not cheap at all. A salted agave zoa, the Corona zoa. No, this has no relation to the coronavirus. Utter Peace, I think, is what this is called. I just like it because it's kind of like an Utter Chaos, but it has that like pale blue center. A Lava Lamp Shroom, Golden Basket Rainbow Trolls, a Walt Disney Acro, and Jeremy is also getting a frag of the Weeping Willow Leather Coral. Step 3, find a good shipping option. We both use boxes from previous online orders, which is a great thing to do. So if you've ever received any kind of online order, save the box, save the foam, save the cooler, save all of the materials that they used to send you coral. Not only is it handy for times like these where you want to send coral across the country, but also you can use it for frag swaps in place of a cooler, or if you're going to someone's barbecue, you could probably fit a couple beers in one of these. Plus, styrofoam is awful for the environment, so it's better that you can save and reuse these packaging materials, and this is the perfect opportunity to do that. Packing it up is pretty easy as well. I like using specimen cups because it provides that hard shell exterior, so it's not gonna get poked or pierced by anything in the box. And bags are totally acceptable too. I'm going to use a couple of them for the SPS frags. So the Walt Disney Acro will go in a bag, and also the Matapora will go in a bag too. Another thing to note, whenever you're sending SPS, especially when it comes to sticks, you'll notice that shippers will put it in a tiny little like condiment cup. They'll X out the bottom with a razor or something, and it will sit nicely in that. And that gives an added layer of protection when it gets jostled around in the bag. We used 2 different methods for shipping. Jeremy used USPS because that was the cheapest price that he could get, and I ended up using FedEx because that was the cheapest price that I could get. Jeremy just took his corals to the post office and said, I need to get this to St. Louis by tomorrow. What are my options? And they gave him an option before 10:30, and then they gave him an option before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, given that there wasn't anything too sensitive in the box, 3 o'clock just seemed okay. And what was nice about that is even though it said by 3 o'clock, it arrived at my house around noon, which is great. I have a good friend that helped me out in the process, and maybe you do too. Maybe you know somebody in the industry that does a lot of shipping and can just sell you a label. Shout out to Curlew Coral, Chris Downing, one of the Zoa masters in our hobby. If you haven't checked out the video of me unboxing a bunch of high-end stuff from him, check the link above. You'll also get to see how he packs his coral before shipping it out. So the cost of shipping with USPS by 3 p.m. the next day for Jeremy was $55. The cost for me, contacting someone that has an account and ships, and I just purchased a label from them, FedEx by 10:30 in the morning the next day, and that was only $45. So just get creative with it. A lot of people are gonna go on to FedEx.com or UPS or whatever, and they're gonna see overnight shipping for $80, $90. There are other options, so keep looking. You'll find a cheaper rate. Just make sure to keep the weather in mind. Snowstorms, no go. Hurricanes, probably not a good idea to ship in those either. And a lot of times FedEx or UPS or whatever carrier you go with will warn you in advance if they're not going to be able to do an overnight package. Now, once you're packing things inside the box, you want to limit the amount of travel that the bags or the specimen cups have. So fill in the gaps with newspaper, make sure that they're tightly packed inside because they go swishing around in the box and things might break, and you don't want them to have to re-glue everything once they receive the corals at their house. Just look at all the big online retailers and see what they do and just mimic that. And I know I'm assuming that you've purchased corals online, and I know that's not the case for everybody, but if you haven't, it's okay. It's not rocket science, I promise. There are plenty of videos online of the bigger online retailers for coral and how they pack their corals specifically, so you can check that out. Just do a little bit of research. Step 4, ship the coral. Depending on which carrier you ship with, gotta be careful on saying the word ship, make sure to get there before the deadline, because when you're shipping a package overnight, you gotta make sure that it hits the plane to wherever it's going next. And because this is probably your first time shipping corals, don't be afraid to ask questions like, did I present the label all right? Is everything good to go? Did it scan correctly? Step 5, reconnect with the friend you traded corals with. Now is the time to check and see how everything has been acclimated, how everything is looking in their tank. How are the corals looking today? Do they have any care questions? Where were they at in their tank? Was it high flow? Was it low light? All of those questions that you have can be answered by the person that sent you that coral. This is especially the case if they sent you a mystery box and you have a new coral that you've never cared for in the past. But check it out. I think that all the corals look great in my tanks. I put some of the zoas in the lagoon along with the mushroom. I also put the SPS and the LPS in my frag tank, and everything is open. It looks good. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how this went for the first time. I won't lie, this is kind of a stressful thing, and it will most likely be stressful for you too, but just think about the end goal here, which is getting a bunch of stuff that you've never had before for essentially the price of whatever it costs you to ship this coral across the country. Just try and tell yourself that after this first initial experience, like most things in the hobby, you'll become accustomed to it and you'll feel more comfortable the next time that you ship coral. If you go back and you watch my frag swap prep videos, you can definitely tell the anxiety that I'm feeling leading up to it. But if I had to do another one, and I probably will do another one this fall, I'm looking forward to it now because I know what to expect. Money is tight for a lot of people in the world right now, and that's because of this pandemic. But the addiction is real, and we need to feed that addiction. And this is a good way to feed the addiction and not have to spend a ton of money on coral. Bottom line, it's a great way to connect with another reefing hobbyist across the country. So if you want to trade coral with me, maybe I have something you want, maybe you have something I want. Oh, look, that's how trades happen. Make sure to reach out to me on Instagram. That's Bahama Llama Coral on Instagram. That's the easiest way to send me a message. I know that there's comments below and all that, but we can't get into addresses and details and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, we have to have a relationship for months or even years to trade coral, like I said in the beginning of the video. So let's start on that. So I had to check in with Jeremy to see how he was doing and how the coral arrived at his house. He said everything went okay and all the corals are doing well. So that's good to hear. That means that I packed packed it okay and I packed it well, and that means that all the coral, all the animals arrived safely. And that's the bottom line. You don't want any death when it comes to sending corals. So the safer that you can be, the more responsible you can be with your packing techniques, the better. Let me know in the comments below if this is something that you'd be interested in. Are you more comfortable trading with somebody in the hobby now that there's kind of like a how-to video on it? And if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure to go back to see last video I did with Salty Allie. She's from OSA. She's one of their saltwater gurus over there at Ocean State Aquatics, and she has a ridiculously awesome mature tank at her house. She took us on a tour of that and what she does at OSA. Make sure to check that out in the description below or from the link above. And as always, you can check out the progress of the Megastore that's going on right now. The OSA Megastore is under construction. There are tanks in the building, and I know that they have started filling them up. So I'm so excited for this store. And Scott Crow, Freshwater Joe, Chris Kaz, Salty Alley, everybody that's been helping out with the progress of that. It looks fantastic. I got some new toys. So I took some of the money that I made from the frag swap and I bought equipment and some toys. I got some coral amino from Brightwell. I've never tried this before, so I've been dosing this every other day into the frag tank and into the lagoon. I've heard great things about this. I got a smaller bottle just because I wanted to see if it actually worked, if the corals were actually happier because of it, so got that. Got the new calcium Hannah checker, and I got this from the local fish store. Same price as online. Plus, I got to support local, so can't wait to try this out. I know that the calcium checker has had some issues in the past, but I think that they've worked those out in this new one. But this will give me a good panel reading of what my tanks are doing now that I've got all the other checkers as well. And the Kamor X1, this pump is going to be doing all for reef in the lagoon. Now that I've got a bunch of coral in there, a bunch of LPS, some skeletons that need that extra dose of love. Going to be programming this and putting it on the lagoon, so I'm excited for that. Hope you're staying safe. I'm now working from home, so I'm broadcasting literally from my back patio on the nice days. So that's been kind of fun, but at the same time, it's also a little weird having the kids screaming in the background of our radio broadcast. But hey, it's where we're at right now. So hopefully if you're working from home, you're staying sane. We will get through this, and I can't wait for that day. Can't wait. We can all like watch baseball again. That would be awesome. And then go to concerts. Like most of our summer at the radio station is concerts. And all of those concerts have either been canceled or moved. So just a really weird time. Super weird. Just stay safe and stay inside and watch more videos. Here they are.